star. It's all I do. Looking for you. And I know that you are out there looking for me too. Got my best fit on. We're gonna have some fun tonight. Are you ready for a fight? Bring on the wrecking machine, setting your dreams of heaven on fire. Bring on the wrecking machine. Bring on the wrecking machine. Gonna ignite your every desire. Bring on the wrecking machine. For every city you burn, I'm gonna build one higher. Target locked, guns are hot. Full speed ahead. Bang, bang, you're dead. You may think you have a shot to take me down. Victory's mine instead. Got my best fit on. We're gonna have some fun tonight. Are you ready for a fight?
Walk to the dance floor! We got a party going on! Overheat your feet! We're gonna rock their shit!
Bring on the wrecking machine, setting your dreams of heaven on fire. Bring on the wrecking machine. Bring on the wrecking machine. Gonna ignite your every desire.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Serious Slander Saturday, your one-stop shop for AUTZ news, with special guests today, CCP Convict and CCP Larrikin. I'm Kale, no longer of Tess, now in Horde, but still rocking the sexy t-shirt. We're also joined, as always, by Luke and Malachi. Need to probably mix the stream up a little bit, because it looks like Malachi's been covered by everyone's chat. Yeah,
It's all good.
That's chat.
Yeah. But yeah, look, guys, welcome. Serious Slander Saturday, super special CCP stream shenanigans with guest stars CCP Convict and CCP Larrikin. If you guys like to introduce yourself so people can recognize the faces to the voices. Convict, I guess. Go
All right,
first.
fine. Hi, everyone. I'm CCP Convict. I'm a community developer at CCP for EVE Online. I've been around for about a bit over 2.5 years now. I just want to thank these guys for making me get out of bed before midday on a weekend.
Larrikin?
Hi, I'm CCP Larrikin. I'm a data scientist at CCP. I've been there for about 8 years, something like that. Yeah, that's it. Hello.
Yep, look, I'm Kale. You guys finally get to see the glorious beard that people keep mentioning from the other stream chats. I'm in Black Omega Security, currently in
You
Pandemic.
really wear a lighter shirt to contrast.
Yeah, I know, right? It's kind of like,
yeah,
rip it.
there you go. Just take the shirt off. The neck will do fine. Yeah, there we go.
Luke?
Yeah, so I'm Luke Hannon. I've been on it a couple of times. Obviously, I'm in the EU, so I'm kind of thankful. Probably in the similar reason Convict is that I'm actually awake at 10 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday morning.
I take it you're in the UK, are you?
I am, yeah.
No disconnects?
I've been okay. It seems to be people on a specific ISP.
Yeah. There
From
is
what
a
I can
forum
tell.
post about it where we've been soliciting details. We think we've nailed it down. Now we just need to maybe liaise with the ISP to figure this out.
I'll let my guys know because one of the guys I think will be very happy as he keeps getting disconnected every like 7.5 minutes after logging in or something.
But we're
it's
already
real
hitting
drag.
a hype trade. We've already just started. Look, just quickly before we get to you, Malachi, thank you everyone for the follows and the subscriptions. I don't the fucking Billy soundbite of jack the fucking tits every time someone subscribes. Just I lose my shit. Malachi, introduce yourself, brother.
Yeah, I'm a director of VDD, a AFK FC of NC Dot at the moment. So just wandering around on Eve talk shows.
All right, guys. So look, we've got a bit of a good show today. As obviously the name of the stream, the fact we got two CCP guys on, they have decided to gracefully join us and grace us with their presence. So I do really appreciate it, guys. I know it's going to be a dicky schedule for you guys, especially with Friendship Week and FanFest going on as well. Convict.
Yeah, mate.
You want to have anything to say about it? Have you got like we're all interested? It's the first one in a couple of years with all the craziness going on.
Yeah, so FanFest is on again. It's in early May. Tickets on sale now. Yada yada yada. Some things that may have changed since the last time, which was all the way back in 2018, because we took 2019 off to do the world tour instead, and then we had COVID happen, so 2020 and 2021 was a no-go. We're changing venues. We're not at Harper this time around. We're at the old FanFest venue of Larrikin, which is sort of like a sports arena conference center, just a little bit further away from downtown. It's sort of like the spiritual home of FanFest because FanFest was held at this particular venue up until, I want to say 2012, I think was the first one at Harper. But it's a really good site. If you're into League of Legends, for example, Riot recently used the same venue to broadcast their Worlds tournament from Reykjavik, and just it absolutely looked amazing. The whole company is stoked that we finally get to do this again because it's been so long between for us with players. People are super excited for it, and we're working really hard behind the scenes right now to try and beat this thing into shape so that you guys who are able to make it to Iceland for FanFest this year will have a fantastic time. And even if you can't, you'll still be able to enjoy it watching it on stream from the comfort of your own homes.
I really wanted to go this year, but obviously financial things because of COVID means I wasn't able to. So I'm really looking forward to watching it on stream and hopefully attending next year.
Yeah. Well, hopefully this is just going to be the return to form. And it'll be a long time before we have to skip another FanFest.
Well, hopefully, eh? All right, guys. So, nope. Sorry, Malachi.
I was just going to ask, is the format going back to like what FanFest was, like a 3-day event?
It's just going to be a 2-day event this year. Because it's been such a long break, and because there's been so many setbacks with regards to travel and all that kind of thing. Initially, we were like, how many people are going to be willing to sort of make the leap? Turns out those fears were kind of unfounded, and a lot of people are really keen to get back into meeting up with Eve players and hanging out IRL because ticket sales for this FanFest have been absolutely fantastic. So that's really great to see. But we're sticking with just the 2-day program for now. We're still going to have events either side of it, like the Sisters of Eve, the pub crawl. We've got a couple of special events, which I really wish I could tell you about now, because nothing's worse than having someone coming on a show and being like all coy and shit, not giving you details. But there's a couple of extra things that we're also we just got to wait till a bit of ink is dry on contracts, and then we can talk about those for the Thursday and the Sunday as well, which we think players will really love to attend, plus all the content that you're used to from FanFest itself, the party on the top of the world. So you should expect all the same things that you've gotten out of a previous FanFest, but instead of doing like a technically 2.5 day thing, it's just going to be a solid 2 days with lots of events either side. And that's not including the stuff that players inevitably always organize themselves, like the Tweet Fleet meetup and stuff like that.
Yeah, nice. And both days are fully streamed?
Yeah, yes, they will be. Yep. So everything that's happening at the venue will be on a live stream. So you'll get all the keynote, all the major presentations, the tournament. We're finally going to be able to do the conclusion to the Invasion World Tour tournament, where the plan was everybody who won the respective legs of the Invasion World Tour tournaments was supposed to have like a playoff at FanFest 2020. We're finally making good on that. We can deliver on that. and we'll also be having the party at the top of the world at venue, but I don't think that'll be live streamed.
I think someone from my corp won that. I don't even know if they're making it or not.
Well, one of the offer was like, if you win, we'll fly you to FanFest, like flights, hotel rooms, package, and stuff like that. So if he's not coming, he's missing a bloody good opportunity. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, I should have bought it off him.
I was about to say, no, let's toss it my way. Hang on, let me just go actually get my passport sorted. So the format of the show today, we're just going to ask CCP a few questions, have a bit of a chat, and then once the questions start running out, we're planning on a roam. Malachi's organising that. If you want to talk about it, dude. Yeah,
so either before downtime or directly after downtime, we are going to be filamenting into Pochven. So if any of the locals or anyone else has got some filaments, wants to come and play the game for a little bit with us, we'll be prowling around Pochven, getting hype for the battleship changes that are coming.
I'm so keen for those. Hey, bring battleships back, make them great again. Fuck off the hack meta.
It's a fantastic.
I have no idea what to
fantastic
expect from
change.
this. Could be 3 years from now. Everyone's going like, "God damn, I'm sick of battleships."
I mean, but the next 3 years until that happens is going to be fun, though.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
I'm waiting for the "I'm bored of being blobbed by TFIs" reading on Reddit.
Alright, so cool. We did have some questions that we were going to ask. There was some that was posted. Obviously, chat's posting a lot of questions, judging from it. I'll ask the one that Malachi put in there because you'll get sad if I don't. I'll go into a rum rage, which is
I can't even remember what it was.
All right, so so obviously Malachi helped me out with a lot of this. So look, massive thanks to you, Malachi, for helping me sort this out. I know it's been a bit of a rough week for me, so I've kind of had to concentrate on real life over video game stuff. The question that Malachi snuck into the question sheet is Test dead or recruiting?
Got some stats on
sorry, you asked that to us? I was going to say, because I'm not aware of any circumstance ever where Test has not, in fact, been recruiting.
I mean, Reddit is always recruiting, isn't it? So is Black Omega Security. So if you're looking for a corporation, we're currently Pandemic Horde and Nullsec, hit us up.
There you go. Nice little pitch. Yeah, it worked, didn't it? Yeah, no. Test is recruiting. Test has always been recruiting, and I'm confident Test shall remain recruiting.
So am I.
Until the end of days.
Tests ain't going away. The test will die the day the servers are turned off.
Yeah. And this is where it also spam you with like Dino Ashy, but we're not in local, so can't do that.
There we go.
Yeah.
Great. I love this shirt. New in post merch selling. If you check the about section, it's the we invaded Delve and all I got was this lousy t-shirt. Gotta put a little bit out there. So anyway, we got a couple of questions, which if you don't mind me asking. So the first question was actually one from mine, which is directed to CCP Convict. Are there any future plans for spontaneous community events like the Titans and HiSec?
Well, I won't say plans, but almost certainly that'll happen again. And the only reason I'm not saying plans is because
then it wouldn't be spontaneous.
Yeah, they won't be spontaneous if they're planned.
Exactly. Yeah. They. I think the last time we did like a Titan event in HiSec, it might have. I can't even remember that. We did it a couple of times last year, maybe even earlier this year. But it'll tie into something that's happening either in the lore or an in-game event or something like that when it makes sense. So the answer is yes, we'll be doing it again. Are there plans right now? Not really, but it will come up because CCP Fozzie or someone will be like coming to us and say, hey, we're doing this lore thing with CCP Delegate Zero where, kind of like we did with the Equilibrium of Mankind attacks. Mm-hmm. And we're like, yeah, all right, this sounds dope. So we'll get the ships in there, we'll live stream it and people can come blow them up. But they'll let me know when they're playing the next one, and that's when we'll do something like that.
All right, cool. Because that was actually a question a lot of people have been asking. Oh, when you talk are there more spontaneous events? Because, you know, it looks like the playbase really do enjoy flying out with you guys. I know that I have a blast every time we do a roam. And yeah, they want more, you know, fleets interaction with you guys. So that's good to know. It's on the horizon.
Well, not this one probably won't involve any Titans or anything, but I can tell you that the coming up on next Tuesday, we're doing the CCP like Dev Roam for Friendship Week. Pando's going to take us around. Well, I don't know where he's going to take us around. The filament will be the decider, but we're going to be forming up in a fleet of CCP GMs, ISDs, and Pando's going to sort of like just yeet us somewhere. We'll get into fights that may not be particularly compatible with the AUTZ, though, I'm afraid.
I'm the FC that never sleeps. I'll make sure I'm there.
Yeah, you can be around. And just a little bit further down the track, I want to say the 19th of March is the Stay Frosty Freefall in Ulletta. And that goes for several hours, for like something like 8 hours. So there's probably a good chance AUTZ can get involved on that. And I know I'll be going and just getting free frigates and getting blown up for a few hours. And probably a bunch of other CCPers will be there on the battlefield too, just sort of having little skirmishes with players for funsies.
That sounds great. Actually sounds really good. So we got another question here from Aquila from Your Dunked. He asks, I have a handout redeemer. Do you guys want to come blops with our gang of idiots? I guess there's an open invitation in the future if you guys feel like blopsing, go hit up a killer.
Well, I'll let Larrikin give you his take on that offer, but it does sound very tempting. But mostly these days I'm doing MPSI roams when I'm sort of like doing PvP, since I'm not currently in a corporation or anything. And I don't know, I'd feel funny showing up in just a random fleet on a dev character or something like that with free ships from players, because people who get blown up might get a bit salty.
Oh,
I was just going to say,
kick him out.
Quilla should be a little bit careful here. I mean, I know CCP Convict, and he's more likely just to yeet off with the Redeemer than
I think get blown up. My integrity is beyond reproach, CCP Larrikin. I wouldn't do such a thing.
What, get blown up or yeet off with it?
Yeah, I wouldn't yeet off.
Just steal it.
Yeah. Oh no! Stop it. No. No.
So I got another question here. This one's from actually one of my corp directors in Black Omega Security, Hibby, who does community work for a living. His question is, do external community sites, r/Eve, Tweetfleet, New In Post, and the like, do they make sharing and discussing information easier or more difficult for you producing community-facing information?
I would say generally,
that one went over my head. Like,
I think I know what they're coming at. I would say generally, it's a positive thing. However, sometimes there can be a case where this is partly CCP's issue, is like we've communicated a change, maybe haven't done the best job of it, and left some things open to interpretation, and then somebody in the community sort of like articulates their interpretation of what the change means, and then that sort of people latch onto that. I can think of a few specific examples, but I just don't want to like call anyone out. But it's mostly an us problem that we just need to sometimes communicate in a way which doesn't leave any room for people to get the wrong end of the stick, which we're definitely going to try and do better on. But overwhelmingly, having all of these community organizations that are engaged and active and talking about the game is an absolute win as far as I'm concerned. Like shows like this one that we're on right now, the community on Tweetfleet, on our forums, all the various Discords, yes, even Reddit too. All those things are super valuable.
Reddit is a warfield all on its own.
Can I just extend on that question? So do you ever have, I mean, I know I do. Do you ever have that moment where you kind of post something out close to the end of the working day in Reykjavik, go to sleep, don't look at Reddit, wake up the next morning and go, oh my God, that's not what we said at all? And it's gone through the 12-hour news cycle and it's got a life of its own.
Look, I'm just posting on Reddit. I've done the exact same thing. I've posted something, woken up and downvoted to the shit. I'm like, that's not what I meant. So I don't think that's CCP only.
Yeah, although we do occasionally, it's usually It's usually just because of time constraints. We generally try to avoid putting things out on a Friday afternoon, just for that exact reason. Because if things are tracking the wrong way, or someone has misinterpreted something and that is now becoming the prevailing position on it, we would normally like to offer our clarification or like a counterpoint, like wherever it's taking place, just to stop things from getting too out of control. But sometimes just the way these things work, something might end up going out on a Friday afternoon. But I would say that we hopefully don't often leave things 12 hours. People might be discussing something in the community for 12 hours and we haven't necessarily butted in, but that's just because we're trying to figure out what's the best way to sort of try and get this back on track. It's all very sausage factory stuff, and we probably get it wrong more often than we get it right. But we do try to correct the record where we can, either responding in the thread where it's going, or we might address it on a stream, a live stream or something that we're doing. If we have something planned in a couple of days, we'll say keep until then. Also, a lot of this feedback that things might be going off the rails a little bit will often come into us from the CSM, and they're always very keen to make sure that people are getting the right information. So they will say, hey, this is what's fermenting in the community now in terms of interpreting what this meant. What should I tell people? And we'll discuss with them the point we're actually trying to get across is this. And they'll go, okay, thank you very much. So they're also very proactive in trying to make sure everyone is on the same page when it comes to our announcements and patch changes and what our intentions are when it comes to developing the game.
But
That makes sense.
just follow on from there as well, Convict. Was there a shift in the intent in the way the latest changes were announced? It seemed to me, from an outsider's look, that it was a bit more of a coordinated event with a few more streams and that type of thing. Is that intentional, or just a byproduct of it, the way the CCP announces things evolve?
We've actually sort of changed our approach a few times over the last couple of major announcements that we've done, just to try and find the right mix. And yeah, things were kind of a little bit different on this one. We obviously had previously what we'd go take it back maybe a year or so, if we had a big announcement or something like that, for example with the scarcity changes, we'd put out the blog later that afternoon. We'd maybe do a live stream to talk about it. Everyone would read the blog. Some people would be a little bit upset about it, other people might be a bit confused about it, but then we'd be stepping out into the coalface to talk to the community while everyone's in this high emotion. It sounds patronizing, I don't mean this way, highly emotional state, and it was really hard to follow up. So a little bit later, we tried a version of that where we'd put the news out, give it a few days to settle, and let people sort of digest what was happening there, and then we would go out. And that was a small improvement. What we did with this time, with the Road to FanFest announcement, was we did the stream first, and we sort of gave everyone a preview of what was coming, and we had some developers on the stream to kind of try and articulate what our intention was with each of these changes, and then we published the dev blog. And then 4 days later, or 3 or 4 days later, we published the a forum post that has the actual numbers, for all of the compression changes for people to digest. And whilst that was happening, we sent out devs onto a bunch of different talk shows to talk to people. We did Talking Station, we did Pando's FC chat, we did the Declarations of War podcast, just try and get as many of our people out there in the community and answer as many questions as possible. Unfortunately, it's kind of hard to tell how we went, because there's, on the one hand, this feels like it went a lot better than our previous pronouncements on this. On the other hand, this was also mostly really good stuff, that people could really look forward to. So it kind of pollutes the results a little bit, but I think generally we kind of feel good about how this worked independently from the content that we're talking about. So maybe it'll be our template for the future, or we'll keep refining it. It was just a process, and we'll wait and see.
I mean, as a stream host, I really enjoyed how it went. I kind of wish I could have poked one of you guys to come on and have a chat with us. But yeah, last week we disseminated, we went through, we talked about the stream, what you guys talked about. We pulled up and showed the Road to FanFest blog, and we went over it. And chat came in and had their say on what they thought it was. And as you said, it was a lot of good changes, which is probably why it had a good reception. But at least coming from my point of view, it was a really good way to pull it out just because it gave me content in a really slow week.
Yeah, right. Oh well, hopefully, it'll be mostly stuff like this for the foreseeable future. Now, when it comes to the content that was covered in that Road to FanFest blog, we've only sort of like released the nuts and bolts details on just like a few components of it, like how the surgical strike change is going to work, what's happening to battleships, what's happening to compression. There was other things flagged in that blog that we haven't yet gone down and put that detail in, such as like Citadels and things like that. But all of the things that we flagged in that blog post will be hopefully like pushed to testing. Attentions and our blueprint, I guess, for the change announced. People can talk about it and then implemented before FanFest in May.
Really good.
Yeah. So it's not unreasonable to expect some more detail before FanFest.
Oh, for sure. Like basically, I think the stuff that we like the forum post that CCP master plan did that had all the information on the compression and the specifics that were released about the battleships. I think that's maybe only like a third of the actual things we mentioned in that blog. And so we'll progressively be going through that checklist and putting that information out there for you guys.
So what are you changing about Citadels?
I not only could I probably just not tell you on the stream if I knew what was going on. I don't know what was going on. That's one for the game designers. But if you go back to read, this is what I was talking about before. If you go back to either the blog or the stream that we did now, and you will be able to get a fairly good picture of what our intentions are. Not specifically what we're going to do, but like what our intentions are with regards to these. And then in the coming weeks, hopefully not months plural, but in the not too distant future, there'll be a follow-up on that forum post similar to the ones that Master Plan did for compression, saying, hey, here's what we think of doing on Citadels. It's on CC now. If you want to try messing around with it, let us know what you think.
So I've got a chat question here. I'm not sure if either of you guys will be able to answer it. It's not, that kind of, do I need to ask someone? Convict, do you have much to do about, the community events, like the gala events and such like that?
Not really, no. That is like a Team Ra thing. And they're the ones who have been handling all those events throughout the year. But that team is like super, super accessible and open-minded. Do you have anything specific about the events that they wanted to be brought up?
The Phantom asked, this might be a strange question, but I work on the offshore and in regular rotations, but they always seem to miss the events like the gala. Because, a lot of your events are set on a fixed rotation. Is there anything that can be done about this? I'm not the only one. My whole corp is a group of pilots that would like to know this. Now, I don't want to put you guys on the spot. Like if this is something you might be able to ask Team Ra about in the future and... I'm sorry, this is one of those sort of like non-committal things. It's like, I can mention it to Team Ra. I don't know if there's anything we can do about it. Hopefully, the timing swings out that there are a couple of events a year that you can participate in. And I know a few of them go for a particularly long period of time, like the Winter Nexus, compared to some which only just go for like a week or so. Winter Nexus goes for like 2 or 3 weeks. And you get a bite of those. I do love doing the events as well, along with the NPSI fleets. I think the events are probably the things I do on the rig because I like to get those tank skins. I had a lot of fun doing the Doctor Who event. It's one of those things. Well, I'll mention it. I can bring it up with Team Ra, but it remains to be seen. We have CCP Signal in the chat who said they will bring it up on the team on Monday. So thank you very much for that, CCP Signal.
No, he's also being smug about Citadel changes.
Look. We're lucky Carmen's not here because the show would just be about the fucking Citadel changes.
It'd be really nice on those like events, since we've got Signal there. If you could actually trigger like some sort of event you could trigger to start on your own time frame. That'd be the nice. Let me trigger when the 7-day rewards begins.
How about like a Halloween filament, which lasts all year round. You just right click it and bang. Now it's the Crimson Harvest just for one person.
Just for you. Yeah.
All right, guys. So I've got another question here. This one's from Rain. She has a question for both of you guys and a collective question. So the first question is for CCP Convict. The best and worst part about being in the community team. Is there anything you didn't expect with the role and was surprised by? And what's one thing you wish you could say to people but can't? Well, obviously you can't say that last part. Okay, let's go up to the previous part of the question. Best and worst part about being community team, and is there anything you didn't expect from the role and you were surprised by?
Okay, the best thing and the worst thing are kind of like two sides of the same coin. On the one hand, the best thing is when I see amazing things happening in the community, beautiful gestures between players, just kindness and things like that. I won't really want to cover this territory too much because it's super sensitive, but seeing amongst the community the way like alliance leaders have reacted to the situation in the Ukraine, for example, to sort of like make sure everyone sort of just like remembers that we're all a space family and not to start any shit, and people volunteering, like saying my corporation will defend the structures of this, particular corporation, so that they can't get evicted from wormhole space over this period of time, and like basically like wormhole wide treaties to not blow up anyone's stuff is really heartwarming stuff.
Oh yeah,
because
it's amazing.
Yeah, it's just a gesture of good humans, trying to look out for other people, and that makes me feel really good. I guess the flip side of the coin is occasionally, sometimes there can be just a bit of nastiness out there, much to a much lesser degree than the former thing I was just talking about. And it can be complex to deal with and very challenging when people are sort of having personal conflicts that things have grown outside the game. Because sometimes you're a little bit limited in how much you can do. Like if a grudge that was happening in the game suddenly spills onto Discord or something like that, there's only so much we can do. And more often than not, I feel like I'm letting people down because we're like, hey, I can see what this person is doing. I can see what they're saying. But you have to take it up with these people. We can only sanction people if they do it X, Y, and Z, and that's a real drag. In terms of what I wasn't expecting, there probably didn't appreciate just sort of like how ingrained the community team would be in the rest of the company. I always imagined the community team was like the final stop for a lot of decisions. You know what I mean? Like it's like, hey, here's what we've decided. Go stick it on the website or go tweet this or something like that. And this is probably also an element of, particularly like with myself and CCP Swift and CCP Aurora, because of and CCP Paragon now for sure as well, like just our status as like long-term EVE players and veterans of the game. A lot of people like to solicit our opinion on certain things. We get dragged into sort of like decision-making a lot earlier than I would have anticipated, which feels really good, if I'm to be honest with you. It's nice to have a seat at the table for sometimes, significant decisions. That was one thing I perhaps didn't realize about the community team, just how, not to fluff our own pillow too much, but just how, reliant or how seriously the rest of the company like took us when it came to making some game affecting choices, or at least not when making the decisions, but certainly putting a lot of weight on our feedback to things.
Okay. Well, thanks for answering that, Rain. Hopefully that answered your question. I've got one for CCP Larrikin from Rain as well. You finally get the chat. We can let Convict.
I'm going to go fill my water up.
I'm contributing.
Drink the green. Drink the green. So CCP Larrikin, what information do players routinely get wrong or incorrect about the data from even CCP? And what is the most surprising information, correlative or causation, that you've found from data that wasn't really expected?
So the thing that players get wrong the most is just overrepresenting themselves in any data set. And this is a human thing. This isn't anything unique to players of EVE. This is just how humans work. Is we assume everyone else is like us and have the same problems that we do, and they don't. By far and away, the largest player group that we have in EVE are people who play in HighSec and very rarely go to wormholes or nullsec or anything like that. They might do some visits.
Nullsec.
But I can assure you that the loudest people of our most wonderful community, of who are my big fans, are not those players. So I think that's probably
Larrikin, everyone I talk to agrees with me.
Of course they do, and everyone I talk to agrees with what I just said. Right? We're all in bubbles, is what I'm trying to get at, and it's very difficult to get yourself out of that bubble. And I have a playstyle that I like, and a playstyle that I play EVE Online in a certain way. And when I'm analysing the data, it's something you have to do. You have to pull yourself out of your own perceptions and try and look at it from whatever perspective that you're trying to analyse. And it's hard to do. It's very hard to do.
All right.
Biggest correlation or causation for...
Yeah, Rain's a hard hitter with her questions, man. She's been doing this for many, many years, and she's moderating the channel at the moment, so thanks, Rain. I know you're watching.
Thanks, Rain. So there's probably some of the biggest causation or correlation we have between cause and effect, the social aspects of EVE Online. This has been said before. There's nothing new here, but just how stark or how strongly the effect is around players engaging in the social aspects of EVE. It's why people play EVE. Well, why a lot of people play EVE, or keep playing EVE at least. So that's probably one thing. But perhaps the other thing is a lot of effects in EVE are really subtle.
Yeah.
Like when you start looking at a macro level, community-wide, you do not see the effect at all. You really need to focus down to specific cohorts of players who are engaging in that gameplay to see any noticeable effect. And looking at the macro level statistics, you just don't see the effects. So perhaps like that's the anti-answer is that there's a lot. You don't see a lot of effects that you might otherwise assume you would, unless you start digging into cohort-specific information. So looking at specific gameplay types and people and players who engage in specific gameplay types and looking at the effects there.
Cool. Last question from Rain, which is directed at both of you actually, so you guys can fight over who answers first. So obviously you guys are both Aussies, like ourselves, except for Luke, bloody pomp. Being from Australia, how did you handle the culture shock of moving to Iceland, and how long did it take you to get used to the new weather and climate?
Larrikin lived here a lot longer than I did, so I'd be interested to hear his response first.
Okay, it took me like a month and a half before food tasted normal, which is a weird thing. But like even things that I know intellectually are exactly the same, but like a packet of Doritos would taste different there. Although they do have some weird flavorings, but like the same flavoring in Australia or Iceland would taste different in Iceland until I just kind of got over this culture shock thing.
You all know Nacho Supremes are the best Doritos, but
I'm not going to get into the argument. Everyone's welcome to their own opinion, but I will say that Cool Ranch is the worst.
Did Australian Doritos taste better than Icelandic Doritos?
They taste the same. Just for that first month, the Icelandic ones tasted weird. So that was one thing. Icelanders are cool and stupidly attractive, but a little bit reserved until you get to know them. And Australians are pretty, well, not on the whole. On the whole, I would say they're pretty gregarious and outgoing and happy-go-lucky.
Oh,
and it was a little bit of a shock coming from a culture where everyone's like, oh yeah, how's it going, mate? To a country where you say, oh, how's it going, mate? And the response would be like,
who are you and why are you talking to me?
Yeah, like sod off, I don't know you, be quiet. Go back to wearing your black and mind your own business. But once you get to know them, what I want to make incredibly clear, once you get to know them, Icelanders are absolutely awesome. I love them. You just have to get past that initial stage, which is not the truth for all of them, just it's a generalization, which is not always accurate.
What about you, Convict?
I feel like I've had like a a different trajectory to Larrikin. I don't remember having the same things with the taste of the food or anything like that. I mean, I know this is true of Larrikin as well, but I've been to Iceland a bunch of times for FanFest prior to this anyway, so I kind of knew how the city felt, kind of what to expect and all those kinds of things. I would say that after 2.5 years, I haven't actually. I don't know. I kind of feel like I haven't properly integrated, and it's due to a couple of factors. Number one, just going to work at CCP, you basically have a whole bunch of friends on tap, and a significant proportion of them are Icelanders, but there's also people from a whole bunch of different countries, and I've found it's been easy for me to get into just to stay inhabiting that bubble and not really sort of experience much outside of it in terms of meeting people and those kinds of things. This is particularly compounded by the COVID thing, because I basically only had 3 or 4 months of living in Iceland before COVID happened, and then I was just living in my bedroom for a year and a half and remoting into work and just meeting up with the same groups of people and those kinds of things. So I probably haven't had quite the same exposure and experience that Larrikin's had. And the other thing I'd say, which is kind of a bummer, is I've gotten super lazy when it comes to learning Icelandic, because even though I showed up really enthusiastic and
I think CCP Convict's having technical difficulties.
I'm Robo, I can hear you guys just fine.
Okay, yeah, you're back. You froze up for a second.
Okay, all right, cool. Yeah, I noticed I got the hourglass on my stream. The other thing I was going to say was even though I wanted to take the time to learn a bit of Icelandic when I showed up here and signed up for classes and stuff, that was a little bit too ambitious, because the world tour we were on, basically I was traveling overseas every couple of weeks for a different event, and I missed half of the lessons, so I kind of just had to drop out. But then Icelanders everyone here speaks English so fluently and have no problem just communicating with you in English. There's not really you don't really feel the impetus to study Icelandic anymore, because it's that's 10,000 hours of work I kind of technically don't have to do, because everyone here just speaks English anyway and nobody cares. So I kind of feel like a bad immigrant in that way, I guess. You know what I mean? I feel like I owe these people more respect by doing all these things, but I just haven't done it yet. Overall, though, I'm super happy to be here. I really, really enjoy living in Iceland, and hopefully we're turning a corner where some of those things which I've just kind of expressed a little bit of anxiety about can finally change.
I will add to that in saying, I've moved back to Australia. For those of you who don't know, I live in Australia at the moment and work remotely. I miss Iceland. It's an awesome, awesome place, and I miss living there, and I miss the people there. Yeah, it's a great place.
It looks beautiful from what I've seen. As I said, that was one of the main reasons I was really interested to go to FanFest. Hopefully this year was just the views. I've seen the, I believe it was Dunk Dinkle was on a stream, and he had the photo from the CSM balcony or something like that looked out over towards the mountains and stuff. That looked amazing. Oh,
yeah, probably from the harbour of over the harbour from the conference room at the old CCP office. Yeah.
Actually, cool. So CCP Larrikin, I have from the Eve Down Under the Delve War footage. Not the footage, sorry. The analytical grid that actually made me realize, hey, analytics are really bloody cool. Because it's not numbers. You actually put it in something that I could understand. Do you mind if I throw that on and you can just go over and have a quick chat about it? Is that all right?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Happy to.
All right, let me just throw that on. All right, there we go. It's on the stream at the moment.
Oh, great. I can look at it on the screen. Yeah, so this is a rendering of the Pappyverse Imperium War of 2020, 2021. And the line chart you see down the bottom is a measurement of ISK and those ISK are actually taken from using Z-Killboard pricing instead of the infamous CCP round-based pricing. Yeah. And then at the top there, the rendering of the New Eden map, the little flashes you can see, it's a little hard to see because it's quite a big map, actual battles that are happening. And those battles, specifically battles that are happening between people who are in Pappy or the Imperium. And there need to be at least more than, I think it was 50 or 100 people on each side or on one of the sides in that battle. So someone had to die, and at least that many people needed to be sort of on the kill mail from one of the sides to show. And then the size of each one of those little flashes, those little stars, explosions, actually indicates the size of the battle. So you can obviously see it's got a lot of battles in and around sort of the Delve area, but surprisingly, there's actually battles elsewhere. And there was just the battle of I think it was FW.
Yeah, FWST. There's the YZ9319 to keep star drops.
Yeah, so interestingly, sort of going into a little bit mechanics on how this is rendered. If you just like we're flicking through the sort of the hours here, I think it's done at an hourly level. So if you look at the battles at an hourly level, like how many people died in this hour, and I can use that to render the size, you get an instant of a flash for these battles, and you don't see anything, especially the big ones, right? You just see an instant, because even the longest battles only really lasted like let's say 12 hours. And you were doing 24 or 30 frames a second, so we're talking about less than a second's worth of like battle animation. And so when rendering this, what we actually did is we kind of smeared those numbers out. So every time someone died, we'd add to the counter, but we wouldn't take away at the end of the hour. We would sort of have a non-linear decrease in the number of that, so that the battle length kind of gets smeared out over a longer period, and that's really important so that you can see the battles at all. Otherwise,
that spike from N2. Oof.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what it is. It was just a little bit of fun. I got requested to do some stats for in support of our awesome community and marketing team, and I got a little bit carried away and produced this and sent it to them, and they said, "Oh, that's okay." And then I used it in the Eve Down Under presentation.
I think it's fantastic, mate. Like, truly, this is probably got to be one of my favorite things to have seen come out. Like, you know, the don't get me wrong, I love the MER, but I'm not an industrialist, so a lot of it goes over my head. This showed me, like, you know, from an FC standpoint, these were the big fights, and this is how much stuff we lost, and this is how hard we lost the war. Actually, speaking of CCP Larrikin, you are the guy who does the MER.
No.
No.
Yes, but no. I am one of the people that does the MER. So there is also, I want to remember, CCP Recurve, I think is his name. His CCP name, I obviously know his real name. He does a lot of assistance around that. He's actually been at CCP longer than me. He does a lot of the stuff around the indices, and we have just had another data scientist come on board and help me out with the MER as well.
Oh.
And he doesn't have a CCP name yet. So I think really what we should do is ask the stream for suggestions, and you know, I'll pass them on, and I'm sure he'll pick one of them.
Well, there you guys go. Look, hit him up in the stream chat, guys. CCP space, what you think his CCP name should be. And, you know, we got CCP watching. Thank you, guys. We've also got CCP Convict and Larrikin here all watching. Maybe they'll pick a name. In the future, you could see a dev rocking out the name that you decided.
I'm going to send this. I am literally going to send this chat log to him so he can take it under advisement. But also, I do need to call out CCP Quant. So CCP Quant was the data scientist who originally started the monthly economic report. He's left CCP for 4 years now. And until recently, about half of the MER was still produced using his original code. Like, the MER wouldn't exist without the work that CCP Quant put in. CCP, the logs show nothing. No, that's pretty good.
CCP lease is taken. I think.
Yeah, CCP lease is definitely taken.
CCP stats. What's this all CCP spreadsheet? I mean, that'd just be CCP Eve, wouldn't it? So is there been any changes to the MER? Are you still following the same formula?
No, so we've done a lot of changes recently, actually. CCP Quant, the author of the original MER, did it all in a language called R, which is a fantastic statistical programming language. But over the last couple of years, we've kind of moved away from R, and most of the CCP analytics department, of which there's about 8 or 10 of us at the moment. That's just in analytics. That's not including data engineering. Primarily use Python. And so the MER is now actually fully rendered in Python as well. And the data sources, all of the data sources that we use for the MER have changed quite considerably. So I don't know if you really want to get into depth of that or not.
Hey man, look, I'm happy to, as I said, a lot of people rely on the MER for a lot of things. I am actually finding... I know it sounds like I'm giving you shit. I'm not. It's just, I'm dyslexic. Numbers confuse the fuck out of me, and so I've never really been interested in this kind of stuff. But after seeing that presentation at Eve Down Under, I'm like, hang on. There's a side to this I've never seen before, and it's actually piqued my interest, and it did a lot of other people as well. So if you want to talk more about the MER, please do. Like, I find it really interesting. I'm sure a lot of people in chat do as well.
Yeah, all right. Well, so I guess Eve is a pretty old game. So it's, what are we at, like 17, 18 years Convict?
Almost 19.
Almost 19.
During FanFest this year, we're turning 19, yeah.
Yeah, right. So there's been, like Eve's changed considerably, especially the back end. And so the Eve, the original monthly economic report was kind of based on two sources of data. And so we have a copy of the Tranquility database. That's the actual database that Eve Online runs on. And so that's like a static copy that's up to 24 hours old. And then we used to have a bunch of logs that we colloquially called event logs. And these were pulled out of like something happens in game and a log line would be written for that contained a bunch of information. And we'd pull all those logs out, put them in a Hadoop server so we could sort of search and query it. And that's what the original MER was written on. It was kind of based out of those two data sources, the sort of static export of the database, the state of Eve Online, effectively the universe, and the logs which would kind of tell us what happened. But we've had a whole bunch of more tools that have sort of come into being since then. And so you've probably read some of the work that CCP, not Habakkuk, not tech director, the guy in charge of TechCo. What's his CCP name?
CCP Chimichanga?
CCP Chimichanga. That's the man, the gigantic man.
He is a giant man.
Yeah. He and his entire team have done a lot of work in implementing sort of a proto message buff, message queue system into Eve. And I'm not an expert on that at all, so please don't ask me for specifics. But what that's enabled us is a better method of egressing metrics and logs out of Eve Online, and we've been transitioning towards that. And so that gives us a much better source of kind of what's happening in Eve Online, which is live to start with, and more accurate than event logs. It has some redundancy and what have you around it. And so a lot of what the MER is moving towards is away from sort of the old event logs data sources towards sort of the proto-messaging event sources. And that gives us a much better understanding of what's going on in Eve. But that transition just takes time. In fact, most of our internal stats are based on proto-messages now, and have been for quite a while. But the MER is unfortunately languished a little bit, and sort of part of it's been running on this R code, which was based on the event log data sources. So we've moved that along. And we also have a bunch of other ideas around what we want to do with a monthly economic report. So one of the big things that myself and the other two guys working on it is we actually want to move away from what we're using around CCP pricing and just go to complete Zekiel board pricing. So when we look at production, when we look at not trade so much, because we're actually using probably the market trade value here, but contracts, destruction, all that sort of thing, we want to go to Zekiel board pricing for that, because that's something players a little more familiar with, and this is a player-facing report. Personally, I think Zekiel board pricing does a better job of pricing stuff that just isn't traded very often. CCP doesn't have a systemic way of getting prices for items that don't go over the market. So if Titans and Supers are the obvious candidates here. If they're not traded on the market, it's very difficult for us to build some sort of systemic logic to establish a price for that particular item. You know, we can say, oh, well, I know a Titan's worth X, right? But can I pull that out of the game data without my own sort of biases influencing it? Not really. But if we pull the Z-Kilber pricing information, that's kind of a commonly accepted standard. And so we want to use that for a lot of our pricing information in the future. So that a lot of that will be regional imports and exports, production and destruction, contract values, ore values, all that sort of thing. I don't know when this is going to happen, but soon. The tasks exist on our backlog, so it's in planning and slowly working towards that way. And kind of building on that too, we also have some ideas around changing the imports and exports. At the moment, they're a bit ham-fisted, and we really want to restrict what we call an import and export between regions to non-singleton items. So basically, that means any item that we will only say that an item has been exported or imported into a region if it's packaged. If you have an unpackaged ship, we would be like, well, that's not an import or export anymore. That's something that's in use. So super capital movements around the regions would no longer show up on that report, and would really only look at what we would consider trade import. Now that doesn't mean that like tactical movements or strategic movements of ships and resources wouldn't show up, and conversely that you could move something that is actually for trade that is in fact unpackaged. But we do think that gives us a more accurate view of imports and exports between regions.
You're more likely to move ships in deployment in parts and then build them and put them up in contract than you would to build them and bring them in, unless it's Potchford.
Yeah, but also, like, you know, we wouldn't, if you move a super capital fleet between regions, that would no longer show up on the report. A whole bunch of ships sitting in ship maintenance bays, that would no longer show up in the report.
I'm kind of happy, as the person who did a lot of the move-ups between ESO and Delve, I'm kind of happy that they were still in the MER at that time, because I sat there and went, holy shit, I moved how much through that gate?
So just kind of a slight extension question on the MER one. Have you guys? So one of the things that obviously comes up quite a lot is, you know, the MER is a static snapshot in time, and you know people like digging into that data. Have you ever considered moving the MER to more of an interactive thing where you can take your point in time and work back from an analysis perspective? As you said, it was a customer-facing report, right? So
yeah, we have, and internally we have that. A lot of the internal reports that game designers might use, effectively have a history back every day or every hour or whatever specificity they require. For the monthly economic report, we actually have played around with the idea, and I want to caveat this very, very strongly with saying I don't know if this will ever happen. But we've actually talked about the idea of effectively just having an MER portal, and so we wouldn't have a monthly export. Instead, there would be a website that shows, probably 24-hour delayed stats or something like that. And you can, like, I want to download the CSV behind this plot, please. But there you go. Some of the new tech that we're using, so the actual library we're using to do a lot of our plotting these days is Plotly, which is a really, really cool plotting library. And that actually makes it very easy to do things like static exports of the data set that we use to render different graphs and stuff like that. So, look, I don't know if that'll happen. I don't know. Maybe,
I think Tanya does make an interesting point in the chat about that, though. Is it doesn't give too much information that kind of overlaps with what's in the game in terms of entities being able to react based on a 24-hour set of data that is now immediately available, and maybe some of the.
Maybe it has to be 7 days old or 14 days old. Or so I don't know. These are implications that we haven't really thought about, and this would also we need to talk to community. We need to talk to game design and what they're willing to have, and what sort of time frame they'd want to delay. And there's a whole bunch of questions around like this. We just looked at the technical side and went like, oh, it would be possible for us to do this. I don't know if we want to do this, or if it's a good thing for the game, or if we actually want to take the time to do this and the maintenance costs of maintaining it as well. So there are lots of questions involved around moving to something like that. So I don't know.
Right. Well, What about a skin giveaway? I've got a couple. Chat. I asked in chat. Apparently, no one wants one. Look, if you guys want a skin giveaway, press X in chat. Let's see how many people are actually awake. You know, X up if you're AFK. Okay, well, that apparently woke them up.
People like free stuff.
So I've got a couple of Scope Syndicate skins, and I've got to say they are absolutely fantastic. These are the ones that I've been bugging Redline for, but I'll hand them out to the chat and see what happens. So let me see if this works. I've never used this before. So if I... do you know what? I think it's this button. Okay, did that pop up in the chat? There we go. Alright guys, the giveaway is up. I think it's... What is it? Hash ticket? Hash ticket. Alright, exclamation point ticket, guys, to go into the raffle. We'll draw it in 10 minutes.
Cool. I think Malachi asked me for a couple of skins before the show too, earlier, a few days ago. I was like, yeah, no worries. And then I sort of like didn't get back to you. But so if you want some extra skins to give away, Kale, I can give you like five codes for random Galnet Streamcast skins if you want. So you can do another giveaway a bit later if you like.
Okay, yep, we can do that for sure. Or I can do it on this one, actually. Actually, no, I said it was a scope skin. I'll give away one of my scope skins.
The old bait and switch. Sorry, like there's your partner skins. That's what they're for, mate. Get them out there.
Yeah. Look, they're absolutely amazing skin, guys. If you have not managed to have a look at them yet, and you're on Eve for the next minute and 40 before downtime, check out the Scope Syndicate skins. They are absolutely amazing. Let's see. What have I got at the moment? I have one for the... this is where we go. Cool. Just Australian lag. You know, I envy you, Convict. You're in Iceland. You don't have to deal with the Aussie lag at the moment.
Getting away from those gate camps is a piece of piss now, mate.
So I've got a Caracal, Agila, the Stratios, Tempest, Varga, Vedmak, and the Venture. So you know what? I think I'll hand out the Stratios. I think it's one. It looks absolutely amazing. Those guys who haven't seen it, especially with the what is that energy shimmer in the back? You know what I'm talking about? Like it looks cool. All right, and then after DT, are you guys keen to start that filament into Pochvin?
Yeah, man.
So how do we want to do this,
Nice.
Malachi? Do we want to? I don't know. Why is my camera unfocusing? Do we want to get some randos to come on with us, or just go in and fight whoever wants to come and play?
I think we will go to Pochvin and just play the game, and hopefully some people come and pew us.
I've also got my co-pilot FC here. Has decided to try to jump up onto the table. Hello, cat. You have claws. Hello. Yes. All right. Yeah. So look, we'll do that giveaway skin. Is there anything else that you guys have interesting? Anything you want to talk to, or do you want to just answer the questions that Stream have been talking about for ages that I've been missing? And thankfully, Rain has been sending me the good ones.
No, I've responded to a few questions when they came up in chat, such as like, you know, how do we get our dev names? Do we pick them or do we get given them? We pick them.
Yeah.
You know, there's been a robust discussion about ice cream flavors.
I saw that licorice.
Yeah, some people at CCP are given names, actually. On the whole, though, you do get to pick yours.
Is that if they're like super recalcitrant and then just like never get around to it, and then like finally we need names or something. Now you're CCP, you know, shithouse or something.
Generally, you pick up. It's more like not like you get given the name, but you probably get like guilted into using that name because everyone like peer pressured would be the correct word.
I am Bricktop was asking a question in chat. Is there an ETA on the fix for the skill plan unavailable error yet? I am not aware of that error, I must confess, but now that I am, I will find out what's going on with that dude.
I do have one question, because there may be a question CCP Larrikin can answer, maybe not, or may have been answered elsewhere and I haven't seen it. Obviously, one of the things that got a lot of criticism, both good and bad, recently was the kind of crossover event. And there was a lot of questions around whether or not, from a data perspective, you would see that actually there was a lot of people that joined the game because they were into Doctor Who and then stayed with the game. I don't know if any data has kind of come out to show whether that worked, whether it didn't.
Look, I don't know. we have data for it. We have engagement data for the event and what effect that had on new players. I just haven't looked at it, so I don't know.
That's fair.
Okay, so just a reminder, we do have the skin giveaway at the moment. Exclamation point ticket to put your ticket in for the giveaway. We've got a few minutes left before I close the draw. Sorry to interrupt you guys.
No, that's okay. I'm just trying to. I've been like snatching a few questions out of chat, which I'll just quickly address. So I am Bricktop. Oh, sorry, that was the one about the skill plan I just mentioned. So Asclepian has asked if I can say something about our plans with the ESI API. He says development has slowed down. Some new features in game are not reflected properly in the AI. Yes, I know I'm aware that there are like some issues right now for third-party developers in terms of like maintenance and also communication with CCP on the ESI. Partly that is due to just some changes in that team that manages it, and so getting a new person up to speed and give them ownership of the ESI side of things, I understand is a roadblock. Where particularly in community, because we understand the value of third-party tools, acutely understand the third-party tools to the whole ecosystem. In some cases, making the game playable. We certainly are putting as much pressure as we can where we can in order to try and get some more dev resources and attention on ESI. So that is a work in progress. I'm confident we'll get to a really good place soon. And I apologize to any third-party tool developers right now who just want to do something cool for the community and maybe having a more difficult time than they should be. Ideally, there wouldn't be any roadblocks in that process. Grim Airbrush asks, will CCP replace the faction logos on ships for corp logos? That would be absolutely amazing to do. Community talks about it all the time. We talk about it all the time. Apart from just feeling cool and flying around space, it's probably one. We could probably even ask for a few plex here and there for it, and people wouldn't mind doing that kind of monetization. So it's also kind of like, whenever it comes up, people always like, hey, Fry, take my money, GIF, sort of thing. So it seems like a no-brainer. It's in practice, it's harder to maybe sort of get it executed, but it's something we're aware of and something I personally would really, really like to see because I think it'd be fantastic. Sword Death Turnius says, how does development of the CCP London studio go these days? Very well. We've gone from basically having sort of like a alpha play test, like once a quarter, pre-offer, I should say, with those guys, to now every Friday. If someone working in CCP wants to, they can jump on and play test the project to see how it's going. So it's coming along nicely, and the more access I have to the game, the more I'm really enjoying it. You understand that I have to be deliberately vague about those specifics.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But hopefully more information in the future. But it is churning along and seems to be coming along really, really nicely.
I've got two questions, if possible. So Friendship Week is among us. Convict, do you mind having a quick chat about Convict Week? Convict Week? What the fuck? Friendship Week. And any shout out to any streams? I'm not jealous.
I know what you mean. Well, we did invite all partners to participate on the schedule. But yeah, so Friendship Week is running now. It started on Thursday when Rain kicked it off, basically on our streaming, with the streaming aspect of it on our channel, when she began streaming at midnight on Thursday, which was before we'd even announced Friendship Week was a thing, which in hindsight was my oversight. I should have maybe said you start streaming after 11 a.m. on Thursday when we published the news, but she still went hard and had a really good job, and Nth Dimensional came on after her. Streams, so there'll be a lot of activity on the CCP TV channel, or CCP Twitch channel, I should say, all the way up until the 3rd of March, when Friendship Week ends. There's something like 16 or 17 different streaming partners x'd up to stream on our channel, which is great. We've got nearly 30 streams, dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of hours of worth of content covering the gamut from PvE to PvE. I think Mind One is his second stream, very, very late on Wednesday night. He's going to spin the decks, so there's going to be some music stuff in there. Merkel Chan's got a stream coming up today, starting in about half an hour. We've actually got about 12 hours worth of streaming with Gustav Manfred, and then Torvald Auras doing 1v1 PvP Battleship Proving Grounds. And then after half an hour after Torvald ends at 2100 UTC today. The Oz is going to do a 2-hour show on helping people get into market trading and sort of introduce them to the fundamentals for that sort of stuff. So it's a great way to double your risk.
That sounds good.
Legitimately. But the whole schedule has been published in the news item that went out yesterday. I think Tuesday and Wednesday are particularly busy with 5 or 6 streams a day. And of course, on Tuesday, we'll be having that dev roam that I mentioned earlier, where CCP, GMs, and ISDs will be led around, filamenting around New Eden with Pando at the helm from 1600 UTC. And we're probably going to die and probably drop some plex and skins and stuff from our cargo too. So come check that out.
I really need to talk to Redline more about the partnership. I know the channel's partner, but that's it.
Right.
Larrikin, you got some really interesting, gruesome data that you had a look at just before the stream started, if you'd like to share that.
No, that's up to you guys to share.
Oh, you want me to share it? I thought you'd like to share it.
Fine. Okay, so I guess, do we need to do some sort of like guess thing? Like get people to guess?
Hang on, all right, so we've got the codes. Yeah, so let me finish the giveaway. So we're going to finish the giveaway now. I'm drawing a winner.
I must step away for a couple minutes. Sorry about this. I'll be back as soon as I can.
Okay. All right, Zappo87, do me a favor, mate. Message me. I'm Kale_Eagleseye_ on Twitch. Give me your in-game character name, and I will send you the skin. CCP Convict said he's going to give me a couple of codes. We'll do that for the guesses. So the guesses are going to be, thanks to the data that CCP Larrikin got. No, it's in this massive ass compo somewhere. Okay, so the most common CCP corpses.
Then just to give a little bit of background, so I did a little bit of quick digging to look at the number of corpses that exist on TQ. But I'm only looking at corpses that belong to players. That means if you have a corporation that has a whole bunch of corpses sitting in the hangar, I disregarded those numbers, threw them away. So I'm only looking at player corpses that are directly owned by players.
Alright, so we got CCP Alpha from Rain, CCP Aurora from Iron Bricktop. Any other guys? Come on, we'll quickly go through. Who do you think is the most collected CCP corpses? We'll give it a few minutes to go through it. CCP Swift, CCP Alpha. Ooh. What are we going to do if we end up getting, multiple people with the same one? I guess we're going to have to, get them to toss a coin, pick a number.
It's the first one.
First one.
Not first and best dressed, alrighty. The other thing is,
it's there. It's there.
What do you reckon? We start handing them out if we hit all the names, Malachi?
If we're doing the top name, it's already a few people have got it there, so dish it out and get on to the next stat.
Actually, I think we've got all 3. All right, guys. So the stats are as followed. Of the most common CCP corpses, is CCP Convict's frozen corpse at 119, CCP Alpha's frozen corpse at 75, and CCP Aurora's frozen corpse at 38. So I'm going to go through the chat. We'll find out the first people who mentioned it. We've got, it looks like, where did I start? There we go. So Rain, congratulations, you've won a skin. It's up to you whether or not you want to collect on it. Iron Bricktop, congratulations, you've also won a skin. And who was the first person that said CCP Alpha? Giddy. Alright, cool. So I'm going to copy all your names into a thingamajiggy so I can remember to message you guys afterwards. And God, it's really bloody annoying me, the fact that it keeps showing my mouse. I do apologize, guys. I've never really done a cam stream before, and I know it's probably frozen because I'm not clicking on the goddamn screen and I am Bricktop. Okay, so the winners of the first competition, first skin giveaway when I get them from CCP Convict, if you guys can message me. God, I feel like I am a fucking idiot. All right, guys. So there we go. So that's the first bunch of winners.
Sorry, I know there's something I should have taken care of before I started streaming, which I just had to attend to. I've actually just contracted you 5 Galnet skins in Jita, Kale. So it's easier than giving out codes. You can just go ahead and contract those to people who win prizes.
All right, cool. We just got the first 3 winners who guessed the most corpses, and the most corpse person is off running again. All right, so what was the second statistic that you pulled up for us, CCP Larrikin?
The character who owns the most corpses. Like, you'll never guess the character, but maybe you can guess how many corpses they actually own.
All right, guys. So I'll give you a bit of a hint, just because that way we're not going to get some really low numbers. It is more than 50,000, but it is under 100,000. I'm going to message Rain the number, and that way she can have a look to see who gets the closest, and we'll... Because Rain has been very graceful and has decided to skip her name from the first competition, guys. So I am Bricktop, Doraya6_667, and Gildy Oscent, and I'm really sorry if I butchered those names. Can all 3 of you guys please message Kale Eagleseye, not the stream, because I do not have control over the stream Twitch account because it's against the EULA. But if you can message me, message Kale your in-game character names, and I'll get those skins to you. So Rain, have we got anyone who's close at the moment? I see one who's close, and I really don't want to give them the skin. I'll admit, Father
Was
Del,
it Rico?
Father Delth has been very, very polite in chat. You should see the stuff that he says in local. You know what? I'm going to give it to. All right, guys. Look, without being able to guess it exactly. Actually, it wasn't in Father Delve. All right, let me just confirm. What do you guys reckon? So we got the message there. It's missing the point to the hundreds, but they guessed the thousands. What do you reckon? I reckon it's a pretty nice number, and all right. So let me have a look. Ooh, we got another one. We got another one that is closest. All right, guys, look. ISD Thaklak with 69,420. You are the closest. So message Kale Eagleseye. I'll send you that skin. Give me your in-game character number. The character with the most corpses has 69,853 corpses. And I thought my mate Deathmess was pretty stoked with his amount. He had like 500 or something, but 69,853 corpses.
Can you share the name of the character, Larrikin?
I don't know. Can I, Convict?
I don't know if this guy wants to know he's a weird corpse collector or something like that. Maybe we're proud. Screw it. Yeah. Say it. Just say it.
The fine non-binary person is Ladyboy Lover.
Ladyboy Lover with 69,853 corpses.
Live television, folks.
All right, guys. So the last question for the last skin giveaway is going to be... So obviously, no one's really going to know the name. Look, if you guess the name, I'll give you a second skin on from my collection. So we're going to go from the number, and I'm going to send it to Rain so she can give me the closest, because Rain is an absolute bloody godsend at the moment. What is the most common corpse? The number. All right? And I'll give you it's less than... you know what? I'm just going to let you guys guess. So guess the number for the most corpses of one person, the most common corpse currently in existence. We've got 9,800. Ooh, 125. Definitely too low. I mean, look, if you can guess the name, as I said, I'll give you another skin. If you can guess close to the number, we'll give you the Garnet skin that CCP Convict. Thank you very much for contracting to me. I'll accept it once I log on.
Larrikin, you should log in.
Yeah, we can get ready for the roam, guys, if you're still interested.
Yeah, get in fleet, max dudes.
Look, last time I did that, Goons made a propaganda video about her.
At one point several years ago, I was like, "Oh, I've got that Max Dudes would be a hilarious name for a character. Yet every time there's a fleet ping, I'll go and create that." But then obviously that name had already been taken like 5 years before I even thought of it.
So we've got a couple of characters that we are like, you are not allowed to fly Sinos. One of those characters' name is Spy Sino. And my favorite is All Supers Jump. They are two character names that are not allowed to fly Sinos in main fleets. Because the last thing you want to say is, and the Sino is All Supers Jump, and next minute you're like, uh-oh.
Yeah, that ends badly.
So I'm just going to ask Rain, has anyone gotten close yet, Rain, for the...
Can I straight up post links in Twitch chat? Will I get like muted or anything?
All right, guys. So we have. I think it might get muted, so you can just shoot me the one.
No, I survived.
You survived. It might be because
There's so many Max Dudes in this game.
It's hashed. It went into hashes.
Aww.
All right, guys. So Rain has picked a winner. The closest winner was Energy M1 with the 3,250. The full answer is ARG, Frozen Corpse with 3,291. And I'm really getting annoyed with this at the moment. So guys, that's going to be the 5 Galnet skins. So please, as I said, message Kale, and I'll go through those names again just so you guys can message me. I've already gotten 2 messages. So can please, Gildy Osint has messaged me. Thank you very much. ISD Tracker has messaged me. All right, ISD and Iron Bricktop. So Gildy Osint, please message Kale on Twitch with your in-game name. Energy M1, please message Kale with your in-game name on Twitch, as well as ISD Thalic, which I think also messaged me. So they've won 2. Congratulations, you've won 2. Yep, Rangers linked it, messaged my name, and let's get this roam underway, shall we, fellas?
You've got a fleet invite, Kale.
I have a fleet invite. All right, I also need to go onto Streamlabs and start streaming the game.
You want to undock and warp to me first? Hey, Convict.
Yeah, mate.
Have you been doing any cosplay lately?
No, I haven't. Not since, arguably, since I was a scientist, killed by a volcano. That was the last time I had occasion to dress up or something.
Yeah.
Actually, I think.
Was there were you going somewhere with that?
Yeah, just curious.
All right.
Such a good performance. I was just looking forward to another one.
All right. No, don't know when something like that's going to come along again, but I'm up for it.
It's got to be the highlight of the job so far, isn't it? Mad scientist on the side of a volcano.
I'm not going to lie, mate. Doing goofy shit like that is a lot of fun, you know. And when the video goes out, I'm like, show it to my friends and stuff. And I'm like, hey, check out this silly shit I'm doing right now. Yeah, it feels good. I really like doing it.
All right.
That was actually kind of perilous, that shoot, because like we're on the side, we were like, right next to where like the lava was flowing on the volcano on this massive hill, and like the ground was like super slippery, so I had to hike down this like fucking 45-degree side of this mountain with like all the ground slipping out from underneath me towards this like lava flow, because like the thing I jammed the little probe into was actually just like a crust over flowing lava underneath it.
Wow.
So it was a little bit freaking hair raising too, not gonna lie, but it was pretty fun.
So like what I'm hearing is that you almost fell into the lava, right?
Well, I'm not gonna over egg it and make that claim, but it was a very certainly a unique environment to find myself in, put it that way.
All right, what have we got going on here? All right, guys. So what you're watching now is we're going to roam into Pochman with CCP Convict, CCP Larrikin, Malachi, and myself. Luke, you were invited, but you told us to go stuff ourselves because you're too elite for us.
Make sure your safeties are off, mates. I don't think these things work with your safety on.
And people can see the weird obsessive compulsive disorder I have for the way that I set up my ship stuff. All right, so my safety is off, Malachi.
And
We're off. And we are off.
Look, guys, if you think the competition was rigged, you can talk to my designated representative, Rain.
Wait a minute. Larrikin, do you and I have the standings to get through these gates?
You don't need standings anymore. They made an update a little while ago.
Oh,
I knew that.
that's right.
So
I
just you
didn't
don't
know
need
they
them
were removed
anymore.
completely. I thought they were just reduced.
Well, let's make it a little bit more trickier for people to try
Nice.
to find us.
We have our ways anyway. We can get around. It's
Yeah,
fine.
that is true. Actually, I hadn't really thought about it too much because I already had dope standings on my player account from the invasion anyway. Trigs love me.
Right. I'm good to go when you are.
So I assume we just anchor up on Mal, right?
I'm going to warp you around.
Oh, awesome! You just tell me what to shoot, man. This will be old school.
Yeah,
Easy day.
if you see me warping off by myself, you'll know something's gone wrong.
Cool.
I think we want to be in a point formation when we're doing this.
You gotta look classy. Oh, that's the point. Should do arrows. Arrows of Leshax.
Yeah. Does he even got that train? That's the question.
Arrows sort of like a triangle.
Have I got it trained?
You haven't played for a while, mate.
Oh, we left someone behind already.
Who's flagged exempt?
Kale.
I'm not flagged exempt. I just have bad skills.
Give you a lot of time.
So how long since you got on, both you got on a kill mail
What, me? Well, on my
Yeah.
dev account or just in general?
in general?
Oh, a couple of days.
I'm plead the fifth.
Yeah, like I said, mostly I'm just to sort of keep myself interrupt me anytime you need to do FC commands, Mel.
Yeah, let's chat away. We'll just hang out for a second.
As I say, I get my fix these days mostly from doing NPSI fleets. I fly around a lot with fun Inc. guys, the Even Better with Friends fleets, which is certainly tons of fun. Just nice. And because they have that cool website where they aggregate all the different NPSI groups and with their schedules, you can just sort of like go straight there, look at the calendar and like, oh, tonight I could go on a Bombers Bar roam, or I could do a Spectre Fleet roam, or I could do an Even Better with Friends roam. You know, you just sort of choose which one you want to get on and then you just go do it. It's super convenient.
What's the website? That sounds cool. Do you know what the website is, Convict?
Yeah, sorry, mate. Let me dig it up.
Oh, shit.
Huh.
I don't know if we want to fight that. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Nope. I was trying to find these URL. What's on DScan?
And Nick's just turned up.
Nick's just landed on the gate.
Ooh.
Yeesh.
I mean, if you're going to kill a Nix, this would be the fleet comp to do it with, right?
Oh, yeah.
The website is www.ebwf, even better with friends, -eve.online. It's not super easy to just sort of rattle off.
Yeah, that was there's a Nix. Ooh, spicy.
You spending a lot of time in Poch these days, Mel?
I've come to look at a couple of fights here. It's a pretty interesting space, really.
I did 5 sites last night. I decided, I'll jump on one. It was about 12 o'clock at night, and it was about midnight. And by 6 o'clock in the morning, I'd done 6 and regretted life immensely.
Got to do it for those fat stacks.
I know
Oh,
there's a
500 mil an hour, it's great.
yeah, I know there's a few groups doing it, and it seems to be this weird balance of like PvE and PvP because there's a limited number of sites. Which I'm kind of interested in.
So when's VDD moving to Provision?
It's probably a couple of other questions you have to answer there first. When's VDD going to log in again?
Can't help you with that, bud.
I mean, look, while we've got you here, Luke, and we've got you, Malachi, you know, I've already done the hey, join Omega. You know, do you guys want to put a shout out to VDD? And I don't even know what corp you're in, Luke.
I probably should say Into Oblivion is recruiting, which is my call.
I'm going to go for my stock standard answer of do not join VDD, start your own group and get good.
Yeah, CCP, you guys recruiting at the moment? You got CSM coming up, so kind
Yeah,
of. Hey?
yeah, no, we are recruiting, and
Yeah,
if you're interested in
absolutely.
joining the group, you should go to ccpgames.com and click on the careers button and put in an application.
I mean, is it easy to get into the you know, like I'm guessing interviews nowadays done primarily online.
Yeah. Yep. Let me see. Well, easy is, I guess, kind of subjective. If you go through the interview process and you're the right person for the job, then you'll get the bat phone. Yeah, all the interviews are usually conducted online over a series of rounds. You normally have the first one is like it's like any company. Normally, with the first one, you'll have the conversation with just the HR person, just to make sure that you're not like a bloody serial killer or something. That, like, you know, you've got the base, you understand the basic implications of like moving overseas and all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
Have probably a series of conversations with different groups, like, you know, who oversees like whatever it is your task is, plus then one with like the people that you'll be working alongside and so on, and that just all feeds into the final decision.
Is it
You often have a test that you have to do as well, some sort of competency test that is based on whatever discipline that you're applying for.
So here's a question though. Are you guys citizens in Iceland, or just do you have like long ass visas?
No, I have a permit to work here, which I have to renew every 2 years.
Okay.
After, I believe it's now 4 years. After 4 years, I'm eligible to apply for permanent residency.
Yeah.
And in order to fulfill those obligations, I just have to demonstrate that, you know, like I kind of like, you know, held up any liquor stores or anything like that while I've been here. You know, like I've got my job signs letter saying like, yeah, this guy's employed. And you also have to pass a basic competency test in Icelandic. And then you can just stay here and work without having to renew your work permit every couple of years. And then after, I think, 6 or 7 years, I'm allowed to apply for Icelandic citizenship, which is just,
I think it's 7.
7, yeah, is just like more strict, you know, fluency in Icelandic, as far as I know, with all the other preconditions I just mentioned.
Okay. Is it getting that work visa or that working pass? Is it
Jump the gate. Jump.
Getting the job at CCP? Does that make it easier, or is it just
They effectively walk you through that process, so you don't have to interview for the visa as well. Like you effectively interview for the position, and then CCP, like the HR team and what have you, assist you to get that visa. Obviously, if you can't get the visa for any reason, if you're ineligible to get a visa, then you won't be able to get a job either.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, well, here's something I wanted to talk about. Maybe you guys can talk about a little bit. We've got CSM coming up with a lot of the current CSM members reaching their max term limit. And if you guys got anything to say about, you know, what you guys are looking for in accepting people's applications via the forum, what they need to do, what they're kind of looking at, meeting wise, time wise, that kind of thing, or.
Yeah, I can talk about this a little bit. So yeah, you're right. Because of the term limits which have come along, several of the CSM will be ineligible to run again for the next CSM. They can subsequently go again next time, but it'll just create like a little bit of a churn in the CSM. So there are a few more, I guess, like open seats than there would normally be. So it's a good time to stick your hand up if you've ever thought about doing it. The process, what we look for isn't necessarily that important. It's more what the players are looking for, because ultimately it's your votes that decide who get to go on the CSM. The only kind of like filter that we apply is to the initial applications. If people want to apply to a CSM, they basically just have to be in fairly good standing with CCP with regards to their accounts. So if you have a history or a long rap sheet of like RMTing or, harassing people, and you've had administrative action taken against your account due to those things, we will often just be like, no, you can't run. Sorry, you've shit the bed too many times. But apart from that, it's up to the voters who actually come in and form the CSM. Who we like to have to work with. Obviously, we want people who have like diverse experiences in the game and can remark on a lot of areas of the space. That said, it's also valuable if you're just a subject matter expert in one area, although the utility of that knowledge will vary depending on what CCP's actual objectives are for like the next 12 months. Like if you're an expert in a particular piece of particular aspect of New Eden only, and then you come on board and we're like, oh, we're not actually like looking at that could sort of like be a bit of a hassle for you. So some generalists are super handy, specialists super handy too, so hopefully we get a mix. But the most important thing is just to be able to communicate well, be able to communicate in a professional context. Imagine like you're going to a board meeting or something like that. We actually kind of like try to keep the meetings fairly formal and direct and deal with each other professionally. So being able to do those things. And with regards to time commitment, we haven't had any summits for the last couple of years due to COVID situations, but we do have at least typically one, very occasionally two weekly meetings with all the CSM, and usually a particular team who has a feature or a topic that they want to discuss and get feedback on. And those usually happen, when the new CSM comes along, the date and the exact time on that will probably shift based on the availability of the majority of CSM members. But for example, right now in this, it's usually a Thursday afternoon at 1600 UTC. Everyone just like dials into a Teams call, and then we have our conversation and our meetings. Aside from that, the CSM are in our Slack. We have a variety of different channels where CSM members can liaise with specific components of CCP, such as they have a channel with like the game design team and the core experience team. They have a channel with the marketing team. They have a channel with like the tech team and so forth. There's probably about a dozen channels all up. And CSMs engage with those like basically on an ongoing basis at all hours, depending on their availability and who's around. So they can have real time during business hours with us, or if it's after hours, they can leave their questions and we get back to them the next day.
So if an up-and-coming Australian FC decided they want to go for the CSM, then they'd still be able to get in contact with you guys, even though time zone differences are pretty hectic.
Well, in some ways, the Australian time zone is actually probably more compatible with work here in Iceland than you might think. Because, I mean, for example, right now it's downtime and everyone's at work here. It's Saturday, beg your pardon. So, like, downtime's at 1100 UTC, and just sort of towards the beginning of our workday here. So in Australia, in the evenings, once you've got home from work, you've kicked your shoes off and you're turning your mind towards Eve, people are just in the office at CCP in the morning. So it's actually quite reasonable to expect for an Australian time zone CSM who gets elected to have easy access. It's probably more difficult for Euros in that sense, because their workday overlaps with the CCP workday. So if they want to have real time with CCP, they have to be able to have a sort of a job where they can just open up another browser and go to Slack and start chatting. If you're working in the great outdoors or something 9 to 5, then you're probably going to have a hard time liaising with us.
Are we jumping? Are we?
Yeah, jump.
Oh, that's good to hear, because there is a certain up and coming Australian FC who might be interested in applying for the CSM this year. So.
Yeah, you have a crack, I mean, there's been plenty of Australians on the CSM before in previous years, going back to all the way to I think the very first CSM. We had Omba Zombie, or was he Kiwi? Anyway, he was from this part of the world. Tamba, who is a Kiwi, was on the CSM at one point. The Judge. Who else was there, Larrikin?
Salt Dragon.
Yeah, Sort, of course. He was. I think he was living in the UK for a portion of that.
Yeah, but he also did a proportion of it from Australia.
Yeah.
Alright guys, so those of you who messaged me on Twitch for your skins, I do have your character names now. I did receive your messages. I'm just not going to...
Refresh the gate. Refresh the gate.
I'm just not going to give you the skins on stream, just for privacy reasons. I don't want people to see me contracting your character names in case you don't want people to know what they are. So I have received your messages and you will get this get the skins.
Sorry, Twitch chat. I've been concentrating on the client and my various rants, and I haven't been able to keep up.
No, the Judge was Australian. The Dross. Well, I guess he still is. I'm sorry.
I'm being red boxed by this nemesis.
Yeah, lock him up. No, we probably can't hit out that far, actually.
Yeah.
Jump through. Jump through, jump through.
This video will be uploaded to YouTube within the next couple of days due to Twitch's terms and services. If you're on New Eden Post or the New Eden Post Discord, you will get a notification of when the video goes live on YouTube.
Reapproach the Nelville gate.
Oops, someone just jumped through.
Yeah. See what it is. We're going to die in a fire here shortly. My spidey senses are tingling.
If that Nyx comes back, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys actually have a list of the CSM members who are reaching term? I know Villian Gobbins. I also think...
I think Merc and Nom are as well.
Yeah.
Brisk is on year 2, so I know he's not because he took a year out. I can't remember where the rest of them sit. I think when I counted the other week, there was about 5.
Tane, is this you fucking around trying to get me, mate?
I think that list was fairly comprehensive. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure. Actually, it's CCP Swift is sort of like the CSM coordinator.
Yep.
It is a project that the community team carries, but it's pretty much just sort of like it's his bag. Everyone in the community team sort of has like a different area of focus in particular, as well as all of our just generalized shared tasks and things. And he's the one who's got the CSM.
So here's an interesting CSM question. So this is kind of a bit of a flip side. Obviously, Cal's already asked, what do you look for in a CSM? And obviously, say no on this one. I know I do a number of focus groups for a living as well. What over the years of CSM, what sort of attitude drives you guys nuts? Is it people that are highly technical and want to say, oh, actually, you get the idea of the question. Now you may not be able to say it.
Yeah. I have. I haven't had as much experience with various CSMs, so most of this is like anecdotal because I've been fortunate to work with like very, very cool people on the CSM when I've had to engage with them in the few years that I've been here. One thing that you probably need to look out for, particularly if you're voting for someone, is someone who promises to do something. Are we jumping?
Yeah, jump.
Yeah, if someone promises to affect a certain change, there's no guarantee that they'll be able to do that. They can certainly bring things to our attention and advocate for them, but someone who says, if you vote for me, I'll get CCP to do this, that won't work. And the reason why
if they are advocating for that, then fundamentally they either misunderstand what the CSM is or they're just lying to you.
Yeah. I think we've gotten a lot better with that over the years. People, because I remember maybe back 10 years or so, or maybe not even that long, there were a lot of people who just thought the CSM was some sort of like magical wish granting factory, and that CCP would like do whatever you wanted to, which is it's the internal It's the Schrodinger's cat thing of the CSM that everyone seems to have in the community. The one hand, the CCP is a tool for the CSM to get whatever outcomes they want, or the CSM is completely useless and CCP doesn't listen to them. It's like it somehow exists in a completely binary state where both things are true.
Yeah, the way I see it, it's effectively a focus group, right? Of players voted by players that, because they're voted by players, hopefully are more knowledgeable about elements of the game that can have that feedback loop without it being the voice of everybody in the game going to one place. So it kind of just filters it down a bit.
Yeah, that's right. And the I guess like the follow on from the people who make the promises or have too narrow a focus is the potential therefore exists that like day one they're like, hey, I want you to do this, or this is the only thing I want to talk about, the only thing I really care about. We hear them out and we say, well, we're not okay, cool, but unfortunately that's not on our roadmap. And then they're like, well, all right, guess I'm done. And they just sort of like check out rather than try and make contributions in other ways. This is anecdotally from what I've heard from how it could be in some previous CSMs. It's very dependent on an individual's personality, obviously.
I think we lost a convict.
Yeah. I've been talking too much, not warping enough. I'm trying to warp. Did you guys dock or am I warping somewhere?
Warp to Malachar.
Warp to Mal. Why won't I warp to Mal? All right, here we go. Hopefully these web posts don't destroy me. Going to be slow on this warp. So yeah, sorry. Trying to waffle while I'm flying is challenging. Oh, being super positive. Generally positive and receptive helps as well. You don't have to it's not kissing ass or anything like that, but just coming to the table with a good attitude and being able to discuss things in good faith is super important.
Just align back to the Attila gate.
Look, I think it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be an interesting coming years in CCP, in EVE at the moment. Like a lot of the changes that you guys have made, even the ones that people are like, oh my god, these are absolutely shit. In the end, they were pretty good changes. Like the changes to interdiction nullification, the mobile observatories. Look, I even think, and I know I'm going to get burned at the stake for this, but I think that the new changes you guys did to the industry and everything are going to be ending up for the positive.
Hopefully it bears out that way, yeah. It's funny you mentioned mobile observatories because I saw a video on Reddit.
Hello, Taint.
Hello,
Taint.
Is Taint still in Rote? I thought
Nice. Oh, where'd they go?
Yeah, he is. That's right.
Lock up and shoot the Hyperion. Call it. Put your drones on the Saber if he aggresses. Line back to the canola gate.
Oh, you whole Taint son of a bitch.
Yeah, he's gonna jump out as soon as he gets scared. Has he aggressed anyone? Yeah, he has.
Yeah, he's been shooting at me.
Zonked.
It's down.
Okay. Oh, here we go.
Landing.
Pull drones.
We're gonna fight here. We're gonna fight.
Righto.
JEC's primary. If you get primary, call broadcast for reps. We've got ancillary reppers. Spread your scrams and webs on someone. Shoot JEC first. He's broadcast.
Oh, that is some drones.
JEC, JO, JEC, then JO.
Larrikin's getting primary. Reps on Larrikin.
So JO is the next primary.
I think I'm out, boys.
Rip.
Who's the next primary?
Looks like I'm getting shot to hell.
Of course, it's
Rep is
CCP.
overheated. Doing my best.
Reps on Convict.
I'm out of charges. Come on, Ansil. Oh, it's too beautiful for this
All right,
world.
let's spider tank this then.
Overheat on JOL.
Friggin' escape! I love you. Hold on, I'm gonna pull out.
ZY, if you're still alive, count.
Yep, still alive, matey. I think you're the primary at the moment.
I'm trying to flee. Oh my god, they got some range. These fucking drones should have warped. Ow. All right, I lost my hawk as well. Oh, sorry, my harpy.
Me too.
Rip.
Yeah, I even put escape ships in there for you.
Oh,
Yeah, thanks. I got some more damage.
Cheers, mate. Yeah.
Didn't get JO down though, I don't think.
That's a lot of drones.
Getting my armor drones out onto you, Malachi.
Yeah, just trying to kill ZY, who I'm on at the moment.
Hey, you're running.
Ospreys are rapid lights, right? They'll probably hit reload.
We're not dying, so I'm going to guess that. So here we go. Now we're dying again.
This Nemesis has got like one railgun on it. He was just trying to kill my pod from 100 kilometers away with it. It's not going well. Okay, now he's got torps on me. F.
If in chat for another CCP convict, the most calls
Another
out there.
CCP conflict corpse in someone's hangar.
Can you ask for your skin prize back now that the number's wrong?
Yeah.
Oh, we got another Osprey. Fuck yeah.
Oh,
Maybe go for the Saber?
let's play a little bit of Enya. Who can say where the wind blows? Overheat everything! I guess I don't need the armor drones anymore.
Well, I linked my lost mail in the Eve Down Under chat room. If any of you remember that chat channel.
Oh yeah, I regularly chill with that.
I'm not in there on my dev character.
Oh, burnt me gun out.
Wow.
Good, like guys, if you guys are in chat, good fight, good fight, good fight.
GF.
Should be some semi-decent loot for him.
Oh yeah, they were pretty nicely fit.
When Tainted Orphan
wait,
said, I'll see you
fuck.
on Saturday, I thought he meant on the show, not like
I have a
in space.
oh, run, you little Harvey bastard, go! Oh, can I? Chase me if you can. You got please warp. You got please warp. There we go.
Nice. With your new stats engine, Larrikin, can you look up the average lifespan of a CCP tune in like null-sec, low-sec?
Wait, a CCP named character or
Yeah.
a CCP are flying their own personal character?
No,
Because they're
it's-
both less than like 60 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm being chased by a
That
veteran.
actually, that's actually a pretty good idea for
You'll never catch me alive,
like a
coppers.
bit of an info dump somewhere. Looking at the life of CCP characters and how long they survive.
Yeah. With your with your like data work, do you just get the data for other people, or do you get to do a bit of? I know in my workplace it's a bit of like I do a lot of the collecting of data, but don't necessarily get the time to do the analysis of the data. Is that?
No, it's almost entirely the reverse. I'm the one that does the analysis. It's usually other people that actually do the collecting. So we're very lucky. We have an awesome data engineering team. I think they actually have more people in them than data analytics, which is an excellent thing.
Oh, nice.
And so they set up a lot of our data pipelines and data warehouses and lakes and every other data buzzword you've heard of. Generally, we pull from that, and then we do our exploration on the data and do whatever analysis we need to do, and then present that to whatever team that we're working with, or the C-level, or
So
whatever the project is.
someone generally comes to you with a problem. You go to the data guys to make sure you're getting the data you need to try and figure out what the problem is.
Yeah, exactly
Not
that.
problem.
Someone will come to us with a question like, hey, we would like to know this, or we would, whatever that case might be. A gameplay team, it could be someone in the marketing team, could be C-level, could be some business requirement. And we'll go and see if we have the data we need to answer that. We may talk with data engineering. It may spawn out multiple projects that need to be done for us to answer it, or it may be something pretty simple that we can just, here you go. All depends. So we've been quite involved in the content recommendation system. So this is a system that actually happens after the MPE. We've been doing a lot of work around that, and that required the building of a lot of infrastructure to basically determine what kind of player someone is, and then we're doing multivariate testing on that, giving them different recommendations on content and seeing how that affects how much they like playing EVE Online.
Yeah, nice. Is it purely game data, or do you connect things like people are using the API, for example?
We do. My focus is almost entirely on game data, but we certainly do have that. We do have game data as well.
Yeah, nice.
Well, that was pretty fun. I think all in all, we've had a pretty good stream. Look, it's the weekend for you, Convict. So I'm probably best. You want to go hit the pubs up, you get some narwhal steaks.
It's almost lunchtime. It's pub time. CCP Convict.
I don't know, mate. The actual weather's been here pretty shitty for last week, and right now outside is just like it's like someone's just dumped the biggest slush puppy on the city. It's just ice. It's just wet, icy snow. So I'm like, I'm probably good just to stay in, man. Like
it's flooding over near my place. I wanted to go get KFC last night and couldn't because the road to West Gosford was just destroyed.
I think I need
CCP Convict, have you invested in those little spiky things you put on your boots?
Yeah, I've got some crampons.
Crampons, that's I know.
It's not like like packed slick ice.
Okay.
It had been snowy, and now it's just been rainy. So the temperatures come up, and the ice hasn't quite fully melted. It's just like a slushy mess. So it's not slippery.
It's that frozen Coke consistency of blah.
Yeah. So that's
all right though. It's the hard packed. It's the hard packed ice, that's
the danger zone stuff. Yeah. Like I had a couple of close calls coming home from the office the other day. It was a little bit sort of slippery underfoot. So
okay, here's a story. Very first day I went to CCP. I was so excited about joining CCP. I actually went a day early, like before my start date, because I was just keen. And I was staying in a hotel, walked through the city, walked up to past the harbour to where CCP was, and promptly slipped over, straight on my bum at the front of the CCP office because of ice. Because I'm just an Aussie that's come over there, and I've got no idea how you walk on ice.
Oh God, no!
So,
It's like
straight over.
It's Mount Kosciuszko, and occasionally, like Canberra when it's really cold. Like, what the fuck do we know about snow?
So, first day, I slipped over on the ice, but yeah.
I'm on my third winter here with no actually falling down yet. But I know it's just a matter of time. It's one of those things. The longer it goes without happening, the more likely it is going to happen. So I'm scared because like people break their fucking arms or get concussions here, and I'm talking about Icelanders who have done this their whole life. And so I'm like, oh god, it's just a matter of time before I wind up in the ER because I tripped on some ice.
That said, though, I do remember a night hanging with my colleagues and walking home at some stupid hour, and what's his CCP name? Haffy. Sorry.
CCP Cognac.
CCP Cognac. He like slipped a little bit on the ice, and I went, "Oh, are you all right?" And he goes, "Please, I'm Icelandic." And just kept on walking like a boss.
Did Cognac came to an EDU, right?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he's a good dude.
He's a good man.
15, I want to say.
Yeah.
The one where we had Guard, Mimic, Larrikin, Cognac.
Yeah,
It was like 5 of them. It was
Actually, I take that back. He isn't a good dude. I was going to win the PvP tournament, and then he put me on half health in the middle of a fight that I was winning. Stop that guy.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, now that I've successfully escaped from the locals, the skins are being sent. Look, thank you very much, Convict, for those. They are being sent now to the very badly spelt because I'm trying to make sure I'm clicking the camera screen so they don't keep freezing on the stream. So yeah, those are being sent. Look, guys, thank you very much. As I said, once again, thank you very much for the skin. We're hitting 11 o'clock. You guys were like, oh, we'll hop on for an hour, have a chat and everything. We've been on for 2 hours now. I'm pretty sure you're ready to get off.
Oh, it's time for lunch.
Yeah, I'm starving. I haven't had dinner yet. Look, CCP Convict, CCP Larrikin, thank you very, very much for coming on the stream. I appreciate it in beyond words. It was great to chat to you guys about the community stuff and as well as the analytics, which I'm starting to get into and actually find interesting. As I said, it's not a dig at your job at all. It's just you've converted me, right? Congratulations, you've got a convert.
They surrender to the graphs in the end. So I think it's just in a EVE player's nature.
So we usually try to do like a final thoughts or like just a goodbye message or anything. So look, we'll start going from the camera. CCP Convict, have you got any final thoughts? Anything you'd like to say before the stream ends?
No, I'll just say to you, thank you for inviting us to come on the show. I had fun while I was here. I hope the answers to questions I was able to provide were reasonably insightful for people. Sometimes I have to be a little bit vague because often I don't know 100% of what's going on, and sometimes I try not to comment on things that are outside my wheelhouse just in case I get things wrong and put other people in an awkward spot. Just to everyone who's watching, thanks for coming and checking out the stream. I don't know if you've got plans for this audience, Kale, but Gustav Manfred is now going on his Friendship Week stream doing 1v1 Battleship Proving Grounds over on the CCP channel if you want to check that out. And all for the rest of the day and all for the rest of the week. You can check out the schedule and the news item that went out yesterday. Just hope everyone has fun with EVE Online. Stay safe. Look after your space friends. And hopefully I'll get to see some of you at FanFest.
That was a lot of final thoughts, Bam.
See you guys at FanFest if you're coming. And if you are... hit me up. Let's talk about economics and stats because it's fun. If you're not, you can also hit me up on Twitter or wherever too. That's cool.
Luke, you got anything you want to say? Maybe how, if we had the 1500 fraternity in the war, we might have won?
No, you wouldn't have won. No, I never really have final thoughts though, right? I want to say thank you for CCP Larrikin and Convict coming on. It's been an interesting and insightful Saturday morning.
Malachi?
Just echo that same sentiment. Cheers to the CCP guys for coming on. Really looking forward to the next step of the kind of road to FanFest stuff coming out. So Hopefully, fingers crossed, it's as good as the battleship stuff we've seen to date.
How's the rum going, Mel?
Being on a talk show kind of slows it down a little bit.
I was
Very
still-
upset.
All right.
Did-
Well, hopefully next time I come home for a visit, I'll have a reason to go by Tassie and try some of your.
You missed it. I think you missed it in the pre-show chat that my 5-litre flagon of rum that's sitting over on the bench there is calling my name.
What are you going to do for the rest of the night?
I might do
Finish the 5 litres.
I
Yeah,
was going to say, well, I mean, after he gets through it.
yeah, sleep real good.
All right. Sorry. I'll let you get the show back on track, Kale.
No, all good, mate. Look, I was handing out skins. Look, all of the Galnet skins, as well as my Scope Syndicate skin, have been handed out to the winners. Congratulations, guys. Enjoy. I've got a few messages back, which is you will be seeing those skins on the roam with Pando. Look, guys, definitely check out Pando's Pando stream. You know, like, he's a great bloke. He does some amazing content. As well as the fact that he even jumps on and plays other video games with us sometimes. So make sure to check out Pando. So look, I'll just do my final thoughts. Obviously, my the world's in a really fucked up place at the moment, guys. Please be safe. My thoughts are with you. Once again, I appreciate the hell out of all you guys watching. Like, if I wasn't getting any viewers, this stream wouldn't exist. So Twitch chat, you guys are fantastic. Rain, with your moderating job, I saw you get rid of some pretty nasty stuff that just does not fucking belong in our community. Like, top work as always. Luke and Malachi, if it wasn't for you guys, I'd be fucking talking to myself for 2 hours, and Father Dell's trying to get me to go to Goonswarm. So as always, I really appreciate you guys jumping on. CCP, Convict, and Larrikin, you've made me doing this as a hobby to actually realizing that, you know, maybe this is actually, you know, my stream something. You know, it's not just something I've thrown together and people, you know, watch out of pity. Like, you guys actually hopped on, CCP took interest, and it means the world to me, guys. So thank you very much.
Sure, man. Thanks a lot.
So guys, as CCP said, we are going to go and raid. I hope that worked. Really? Did I? Yes. All right, guys. So we're going to go raid the CCP stream for Friendship Week. So stick around for that raid, guys. It's going to like probably pop off in whenever. You also get channel points too. Look, congratulations to the skin winners. Yes, it worked, Rain. Redline actually fixed it for me. Guys, fly safe, fly hard, fly fast, and collect all the kill mails. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Catch you guys. Bye.
I can't believe you specifically said see you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday, Alex.
That is the next show
I
is
know you're an Aussie,
Tuesday.
but I was still surprised you actually said it. I'm not going to lie.
It works on so many ways because the next stream for New Eden Post is Trash Talk Tuesday, and I usually hop on it, so I do see them next Tuesday. And yes, I'm
No
calling
lies
all the times.
detected. Like, it's accurate.
I miss Trash Talk Tuesday. Since COVID kind of ended and going into the office, I'm like, I can't sit up until 2 in the morning.